going to be a challenge, of course, for Titan. As you can hear, the crowd getting absolutely crazy here for both teams. But, you know, I know a lot of people in here are cheering for COG Prime. They want those boys to bring it home. But you know what, though? Again, it goes without saying, Titan, if this is it. This is it. Your back is against the wall. You know, your opportunity to be, you know, not only, I mean, if we look at the numbers here, I'll just bring this up in a second, like how much these players are actually playing for. You know, the difference between first and second place, $522,000, $452. Or I said dollars 2 times, whatever, YOLO. Then first place, $1.3 million. That is a wide gap.
$800,000 difference.
That's a lot of
crazy.
nuts.
But you can hear them. You can hear the crowd. And this, to me, is an uplifting show of support for Titan. This is them. Titan is on the chopping block, ladies and gentlemen. This could be their last match in the Smite World Championship 2015, powered by Curse Voice. And you're looking at this and thinking, can Titan bring it back? They have to win this match.
It's going to be so hard. I mean, you have to think about this, right? The play, like, you can't concern yourself with banning out MLC stealth.
No.
You need to concern yourself with screwing up everyone else, okay? And as best you can, you have to outplay him. You have to outplay him, period. There's no other option, Allied.
And that's the key thing you're seeing here. It's not all, there's drafting problems. However, there is also individual skill problems and team strategy problems. And honestly, I think the best way to do it is to address what is the most common problem and address it from there, like early game jungle control. Titan has no early game jungle control. They can't even get their speed buff. They need to recognize that and be like, that's a problem. How do we fix that problem?
They have to fix that.
Do you pick Circuit? No, man. Okay, what do you need to survive early game to help us and be a jungler and start getting off like we all know Replicon should be able to do?
What if Circuit doesn't get banned, which we're going to go into pick some bans here for game number 3. Cognitive Prime up 2-0 against Titan. And wanted to ask you this real quick. You don't ban, let's say they don't ban Circuit. Cognitive Prime, do you think they care enough to pick up Circuit?
They do not care. I think their eyes are set on Thor. Thor's been winning them games. They've given it up. They know they can beat it. Circuit might not even be picked this game. I would not be surprised.
You know, honestly, Cognitive Prime doesn't seem like the propensity to go for it. Titan did not do anything with it last game. I would have let this through. I don't think Anister would have made that big of a difference. Now, we have seen Anister play it once so far. It was successful, but on the back of Cognitive Prime as a team. There's Ao Guang banned away. Now, Titan has first pick, first ban here. There hasn't been that much success in this slot. Get Thor right now. Do not let him have it.
There you go. There's the Thor pick.
There we go. And I really hope Replicas can use this.
Osiris on the other side for COG Prime.
Yep.
This is what Titan needed, though. I mean, Titan needed the early game aggression gods. If they can just pick up, hopefully it's going to be an Ares pick from Titan's side, because, I mean, obviously, I don't know if Cognitive can play anything else at this point.
Before the next ban phase.
Before the next ban phase.
Yes.
So I would assume to pick it up now together with the Thor. You know, get a good early game mid, maybe.
They do something, and you know, you are right there, you wizard. You're a wizard, Hade. He gets the Ares, and they get the knock. So Titan's looking to fight this one back.
So it's interesting to pick the Ares this early. I know they don't want it banned, but that is exactly why. Nemesis, the #1 counter to every god in the game, will take away Ares' protections, will take away his speed, will give it to her own, and Ares becomes a walking target.
So what does Titan need to do in the next ban phase and also in the next pick for them to at least control the impact?
On her needs to get banned. 100%.
On her needs to get banned.
On her needs to get
because
banned.
even if you ban Scylla, MLC is just going to go Zong and wreck you anyway.
If
so
Ares
really
wants to have a decent laning phase here, On her needs to be taken
Take away the Osiris counter. There goes that. Smart play. Baka very strong against Warriors. That's going to put Comfrey in a tough spot. Titan's going to get rid of
It's going to be a Scylla, I'm pretty sure, right?
Away from MLC. It's going to be Scylla. Easy.
I think they can... Yep, there's the Scylla pick.
There it is.
There's the Scylla pickup. That's going to be dangerous territory for Titan. So this just complements this build that Cognitive Prime for example.
Oh,
there's the On her pick. Okay.
Okay.
So he was
They don't
holding
have to
skill
pick
for
it.
the
Yeah, I
height.
think they were worried that they would see Titan pick up on her on Ataraxia just to take it away from them. Obviously, Scylla doesn't need to be picked right now. Pre-Prime has already selected his Nox. He's not going to play anything else, and so they're waiting for the last pick to do it. Titan has to be very cautious on what these two picks are. They've got a good front line with Ares, a good front line with Thor, good team fight initiation, backline damage. They need a strong late game carry.
And now this is where it comes down to, do you pick the Rama into this, or, yep, there you go, Ataraxia with the Ramas locked in. So now they have a strong dual lane that scales well to mid to late, and there's the Chalk solo.
I really don't like it. I'm not a big fan of the Shock so far. I don't know. I feel like
It's been very lackluster, right?
And the last pick
Yeah.
up. Almost instantly, perhaps. Let's see if this is the case. Yes, it is. Scylla is picked up by Cock Prime. Ladies and gentlemen, game number 3, of course, to drive us through the action. None other than Bart and Brandon. Take it away, guys.
Thank you very much, Golden Boy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the commentary desk for what could be the final time. Cognitive Prime up 2-0, and they've drafted their signature Scylla. They have On Her for Barracuda. They have Nemesis for Ananser and Osiris as well. Did they not get anything they wanted in this draft?
I think that things are looking very, very grim for Titan at this stage.
I don't see why you pick Ares in your elimination game.
When it comes down to it, when they go back to these replays, it's going to come down to the fact that they know he's not getting Ymir, they know he's not going to get Athena, and if they do, they're not afraid of it. This is the end of Kanye Life's God pool because he didn't practice enough Geb, he didn't practice enough Sylvanas, and Titan has clearly underestimated the tier list.
I just don't understand how you can have a player that doesn't have the 2 best gods in his role in his pool.
And not to mention, they are 2 of the probably top 5 gods in the game.
That's right. I mean, it's just such high pivot-based picks. The first pick of Thor as well, maybe a little bit questionable considering what else was on the board there. They gave away Osiris and whatever else they wanted, which was that Athena. Cognitive Gaming has definitely held the ball on how these drafts have gone. But as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting into game. Let's go ahead and get this bad boy started.
Again, I will mention that we could be underestimating Titan. This is the one team you cannot clock out against early. They have defeated people under the most incredible of odds with all 3 Phoenixes down. With their Titan at 10%, they have won games and on the verge of elimination to win tournaments.
But they've always done so on the back of a hyper late game carry in Kali. Here, they do not have anything that can fill that role outside of their Hunter Ataraxia. But we'll see what they could put on the table. Ladies and gentlemen, it is game number 3 of a best-of-5 series. Titan representing the #1 seed from Europe. They are down 2-0 versus Cognitive Prime. Their roster is Kanye Life pairing up with Ataraxia in the duo lane as Ares and Rum. In the jungle, it's Repicos on Thor. Pretty Prime in the mid lane as Nox, and that leaves Confree as the solo lane Chuck. Their opponents in this 3rd game, they are the red team. Hailing out of North America, the hometown boy, Barracuda, leading the charge, Cognitive Gaming. Ananser in the jungle. Jeff Henla is your support. MLC Stealth in the mid lane. Barracuda as your hunter. And finally, Megatron as the Osiris in the solo lane.
Going into it, nothing crazy coming out. I really was hoping Titan would be going for their speed buff here, but they are standing directly on a ward should they choose to go for what seems to be the cognitive start on the order side duo. They will have felt the hurt, so it's very smart. Kanye Life rushing right in. No Hand of the Gods to be used here. And starting on top side, Jeff Hinla getting away with using his Hand of the Gods early.
Yeah, they're not going to get blown up for it, but they also will not have the blue buff available. Ataraxia getting zoned out a bit, and Barracuda going to move forward as well. But let's keep an eye here, Brandon, on the mid lane where it's 2 fairly low clear mages doing battle. However, Nox has a big advantage in the harass department. Red buff Ananser is going to get spotted up. Repicos ports forward, but without the stun to lock him in, only sitting at level 2. Ananser is going to survive. No first blood in the first minute today.
It's going to hurt Repicos at that reset, but the actual call to reset it was so incredibly high level. Getting that done is something that very rarely happens. Beautiful play coming out, and Andy takes the first real chunk of harass.
On the left side lane, Jeff Hinla falling down to about 50% HP here. The Ares change just doing so much damage in the early stages. They are going to rotate their jungler over to help secure this blue buff. And it's going to be actually really, really XP efficient as MLC Stealth is here as well. And honestly, this is going to help the mid laner out tremendously, getting Scylla to the point where she is a little bit more viable as a clear in the mid lane. And well, as we've seen so far, MLC Stealth does not need much help.
That's true. Going towards the red buff now, we're going to see the two-man grouping. MLC Stealth getting a part of 2 camps there, but he will lose at least some gold to the tower here. He will lose 1 creep of experience as well. Now, talking about Kanye life, in the beginning, I mentioned quite plainly that his god pool is small. It's very important. But we should talk about the last time I underestimated Ares. He won that game flawlessly against Fnatic to qualify for the World Championships.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a pretty solid, on paper, kind of counter to the Athena. She relies a lot on her dash, but as you can see there, the taunt combination when he tries to move forward, those chains, very dangerous. The lead forward from Barracuda. He's looking for the first blood. He's going to need about 3 auto attacks. 1.
Yeah.
Not going to be able to get any more
That's
than
2.
that. That's going to be all she wrote. No kills on to Kanye life, ladies and gentlemen, as Barracuda still searching for that first blood.
Ataraxia right there didn't quite find anything as well. Not only did he wasn't able to peel for his team, but he didn't.
Oh,
even push
Rebecon's
the
in the
wave
mid
up.
lane. He's in a lot of trouble. Oh, he's a monster. MLC Stealth. And down goes Rebecca for the first blood.
He will be consumed on the second hit. Pretty Prime actually activated the level of the move and then did it before taking the damage. But of course, the true damage had been done. First blood once again going to North America, and Titan's attempt to win the World Championship seems to be waning.
For those of you a little bit confused, that I'm a monster move is not auto lock. It's not a guaranteed hit. MLC Stealth is actually just that good.
He has had a very high conversion rate on that move this weekend. And it's not generally a very easy move to land.
No, it's one of the more difficult ones. It's got a big build-up. It's very obvious when you've entered into that ultimate state, and you have only about 8 seconds to fire it. Well, it's a fairly extended time. Hold on, hold that thought. Left side lane, we have a big grouping here. Getting very, very low. Jeff Finlay's going to fall to the damage from the chains. Barracuda's using Desert Fury just to disengage.
That could be trouble.
Thor is up in the air. He can re-engage, but as you can see, Barracuda standing in the crush. He's going to look to leap over the Gold Fury once it's back off of cooldown. Rebecon's forced out of the fight as well. And Barracuda, very, very elusive using the Pillar and the Gold Fury there. They were unable to continue aggression.
Rebecon's got scared of the crush. Honestly, he should have just taken it. A kill onto Bear there would have spelled absolute brilliance for Titan, but they do answer the first blood back, yet are still down 700 gold.
One thing right off the bat that's very clear about Titan and their game plan here is they've realized that they can't lose all of the mid camps.
Right. It's very important.
They have lost all of the mid camps in the first 2 games here. They start to split them, and actually, are they sitting on an actual lead in this game? No, it's still in favor of Cognitive by about 1,000 XP and 700 gold, even given the mid camp pickups and some early kills.
Titan's farm has just been beyond lackluster. Plain and simple, Repicos consistently falling behind. Pretty Prime almost always behind Stealth, and that's no different here. Level 6 to level 7, and with that mana, you know Pretty Prime's going right back to the base.
That just has to do with Cog Prime's XP efficiency, as you see here. MLC Stealth and Anisur splitting damage and splitting the gold with the Bumbus mask for these camps. This is something that Cognitive Prime has always excelled at. In fact, they were one of the first teams in the North American scene we saw really utilizing that Bumbus mask. This is the starting item for junglers, and it gives them a little bit better clear while also giving them some sustain and helping share gold and XP at a higher rate with nearby gods.
So right there, Kanye Life pushes up the mid lane. Instead of just going for last hit, stripping away even more experience and gold from Pretty Prime, putting him now even farther behind MLC Stealth, who, you know, strangely is the one to continue carrying the game. He's 1-0-0.
Side lane.
That's damage.
Confrey's in a lot of trouble here. He's going to get set up by the Osiris. There's a Nemesis on his back as well. They could use the ultimate if they wanted it, but they're going to save it onto Anisur, just electing for the harass onto Confrey.
I think Confrey was actually waiting for the ultimate to use his in case they initiated, so great patience on his end as well.
But now they have the ultimate available for Pretty Prime. He's playing up in the lane. He's in a lot of trouble. Anisur is here. The ultimate comes out. Slice and dice as well. Damage coming through. Consume was used, and Pretty Prime gets taunted out. No damage, and here comes the gun. Roars up north. Rebecon's helps turn this one around. Down goes Pretty Prime. Anisur trying to lead. Jump lands here. Kanye Light finds the pull. Onto 2. Crush is there. Kanye Light taking the damage. No more spells. MLC Stealth out from Sentinel. And it's just a kill for Cognitive.
Reppy once again dropping the ball. He should have reinitiated from max range. And Araxia from the backline. Max range coming out of the barrage, finding a kill and keeping his team alive just for now.
That's a really, really important kill for momentum. It prevents Ascilla from continuing to farm up, as well as giving a little bit of a morale boost on the side of Titan. Whew, Ataraxia, that just feels like such an important moment in the game, that kill.
And it's so, I think, great that it was the captain. It was so relevant that he's the one to say, I understand you dropped the kill. I understand you guys didn't quite get you were looking for there, but I'm here to help you guys. Keep the morale up. We're pushing into the mid game. We're not letting it go just yet.
Anderson playing a dangerous game there and actually ends up juking that stun from Repicos. And now with some cooldowns used up, Anderson and young Jeff Hindler are going to have a pretty decent time at taking this left side camp.
Kanye right now doesn't have Blink for about another 30 seconds. Same thing for his ultimate No Escape, which of course is going to be a major factor in the game. Taking a look at Cognitive's actives, there is literally one set of beads and an Aegis Amulet. So there's not a lot of potential for them to escape the No Escape.
Continuing to group up in the mid lane is Titan. 3 members here, 3 members from Cognitive Prime as well. Gold Fury seems to be on the mind of the teams.
Yeah, we're seeing a grouping here. Right now, the vision belongs to Cognitive. Kanye does have a sentry, will drop it and regain vision control. And with no one in the base right now buying items and no sentry wards in the inventory coming out from the boys on Cog, for now, the vision will belong to Titan.
Yeah, and this seems like a Titan game. The only thing I'm worried about here is that shock in the solo lane.
Again, Comfrey has opted into a god that performed extremely poorly in the previous match.
I mean, he's a good solo laner as shock. He's very, very safe. He can find farm, and he can scale with farm, and he can use items well.
Yeah, but he's
what he can't do,
vanilla.
He can't stop Osiris from getting 6-slotted.
He's a vanilla character. He doesn't do anything badly, doesn't do anything good.
Yeah, he won't slow anyone down, and that's going to spell some problems.
Oh, right. We're going to get a grouping here in the mid lane once again as MLC moves forward. Going to get silenced out before he can find anything.
Left side, Repicos and Kanye Life are waiting with the ambush, but Barracuda is facing in their direction. Even without ward covers, a game sense lets him know that he could be in some trouble here. Atarax goes forward. He finds a cripple. In comes the rest of the team to chase her out. Barracuda using Desert Fury. He uses the Athena ultimate as well to help save his life. Dodging forward. Kanye up. Going back in. Down goes Barracuda. But here comes Anderson. He finds the ultimate on Ataraxia, who dodges forward. I don't think Kanye's going to find any more out of this.
Oh, they're trying though. And he goes down. Ataraxia finding the bait, and now a double kill for Rebecca.
Pretty Prime
down. One more hit's gonna do it. There's a kill for Kanye.
Pretty Prime has a blink on Nox at 8 minutes into this game.
That's what he does, man. That's how he won in the previous set against SK Gaming. He goes aggressive, but there's a 4-man grouping here. We don't have the Hunter. There's no way Omega's making it over, but the issue here is that MLC Stealth could still wipe that team.
Yeah, he missed his route, though, which is going to mean that Comfrey can zone him a bit here. The Gold Fury starting to get low. I'm coming out. Can he find anybody?
Nothing.
No, he looks for the ultimate. Questionable play there. And I mean, granted, as you mentioned, in theory, he could have killed the entire team. He was trying to steal away the Gold Fury, but was just a little bit off the mark with that I'm a monster.
He should have dived in. He needed to all in much sooner when they were still stacked up. Of course, he didn't have that information, but he winds up paying for it. And for the first time, MLC Stealth with a big misplay puts his team behind as Titan finds a 1,000 gold advantage. But I do want to highlight and give major shout-outs to my man Omega, who recognizes the fact that he's just not getting over there. He strips away the blue buff and takes it, and then drops the red buff on the ground for his team as well. Brilliant use of his time.
Yeah, Omega playing some of the best Smite of his life here. He's one of the longer tenured players around in the scene. We've seen him fall in and out of favor in terms of a dominant or a top of his class solo laner. But here we've seen him play a game that we haven't seen really from anyone else. It's the very Omega style of play, very lane dominant, a lot of taunting, a lot of emote spamming, and a lot of head games.
Oh, Kanye in a great spot here. Stealth gonna Aegis it, and Jeff Hindler gonna channel it out. We're gonna see a lot of damage onto Jeff here. Can Comfrey move forward? Oh, I'm very surprised to see him not go a little bit deeper there, cripple or not.
Yeah, the Nemesis ultimate came out onto Comfrey, which made him fall back. Omega finds a tether, but actually leases it himself. Nox damage is gonna help slow down Cog's surge forward, and Osiris has realized he can't find any kills, but there's the Crush Sick'em combination. Kanye Light's gonna get slowed down, taking a lot of damage. Omega trying to find any will with the Psycho Crusher. Down goes Kanye Light.
Eyes on Ataraxia in the air. It's gonna need a big shot here. Can he find him?
Oh!
No, he cannot. Silence out onto Andy. Ataraxia is going to try to find a kill here, but he knows he's going to be forced to retreat. A small but still relevant victory for Cognitive Gaming.
XP actually swings into the favor of Cog, albeit by only 700 on the back of that fight. Gold difference still in favor of Titan at 800. This game is basically dead even at 11 minutes, even though Titan is holding 6 kills to their credit.
We got 1,000 gold difference roughly. I mean, realistically, that's not going to be an item level per person, or rather even for one person. It's going to come down to if they can use it. This isn't a defend or protect the lead situation. This is a I must farm as good as MLC Stealth situation. This is a I must continue outplaying Barracuda situation. And in the last fight, Bear found the good ult, and Ataraxia didn't.
And this game, however, Confrey seeing a little bit more successful with the chalk. He's made the rotations. As you mentioned, Omegatron has elected to farm instead. You can see him going toe-to-toe. We got a slap fight over here.
I'm actually pretty surprised to see neither of them has picked up teleport to towers yet. Both of them sitting on Hand of the Gods 1.
Yeah, they, I guess there just hasn't been a lot of pressure in this lane. We've only seen the jungler over here a couple times, and neither of them really likely to fall with the tier 1 still up. So all things told, it's a farm lane.
So Reppy right now, 3-1-2 compared to Andy, 1-1-2. That's a little bit confusing to me considering the fact that they're the same level. Andy actually getting the lead now, hitting level 12.
Yeah, Andy's pulled ahead now on this Nemesis, even though, as you mentioned, behind in the kills, Thor just not farming very efficiently on the back of Repicos.
That's true. I mean, realistically, Andy has always had a very significantly higher farm rate than most other people. Ultimate coming out onto Kanye. Is MLC a monster? He's looking for it. He's kind of wasting it, but he finds one. 3-man silence going to come out. Trying to wait for a little bit more damage to come through. Might waste it. Not going to find the second hit as Reppy dives into 3.
Omega moving forward. There's a big Psycho Crusher onto 2. No healing coming out. Barracuda gets blown up by the Ataraxia ultimate.
There's
from
a
the
good
sky.
shot.
He's going to miss any more kills here as Confrey surges forward, establishing the front line for Titan. He's going to take some damage for his trouble. Taunted back in. Can it be enough? No, Jeff Handler forced out as the stun comes from Thor, and it's a 1-for-1 trade.
In favor, in my opinion, of Titan, of
Absolutely.
course. Given the fact that Barracuda is going to face about 30 seconds of respawn compared to the fact that Kanye is already up.
Titan looking like they want to keep their tournament hopes alive here, down 2-0 in a best-of-5 series. One more victory for Cognitive Prime will make them the best team in Smite in the world. Titan fighting for their hopes. They're building themselves a lead, but it's not substantial yet. They really need to take a Gold Fury, a couple towers, get some footing before you can call this one in their favor.
So topside speed buff about to respawn. It's strange that Andy's going to rotate away. Still could be some time before it comes up. It is within that 30-second mark. So I expect that he's going to try to maximize his farm as he always does. Goes to the small camp first. Speed buff just blinking, so expect the rotation back soon.
Yeah, speed buff on the top side going to be coming back up shortly. Red buff, as you mentioned, going to be picked up by the Athena Nemesis Scylla combination. Gold Fury also up in about 30 seconds, so be mindful of that as you watch the teams rotate for that top side orange buff.
All right, so Stealth going back into the mid lane, not missing any farm there. A little bit of gold to the tower, but nothing super relevant. Mid camp's on right, about to come up, and again, Andy walking past the speed buff to ensure that he's going to get a camp that could be contested.
Right side, let's see, we got about 15 seconds left. The chains are coming out, but they do miss. Kanye Life takes some damage.
4v4.
It's a 4v4 now as the rest of the backline rotates in. Repicos there, as is the Osiris, but backing off now is Titan. They're going to give this one up to Cognitive Prime.
Strange to me, considering that they did have a pretty good line to that. Pretty Prime was completely blocked by the front line, and the rotations coming over. Comfrey didn't really have too much threat, honestly. I mean, the Nemesis all coming out, and then him reducing the damage he takes with Ares applying pressure could have been very strong, but they decided to play it safe.
It's a Razor's Edge game, though, with Nox against other pro teams. She's just very, very low HP,
sure.
And needs a lot of farm to really be dominant.
Whoa, Reppy going immediately for Barra. Barra, I think, yes, jump is down. Not in a great spot. Bad teleport coming out from Repicos, but Ataraxia again cleaning up the mess, finds another killer, and Barracuda is going to face another 35 seconds of respawn.
Yeah, I think this should demonstrate why we've seen yeah, pulled back in as Jeff Hindley in a lot of trouble, but here comes Anderson. Doesn't matter. Reppy finds the backside hit on the Mjolnir to Truman. Down will fall Repicos, however, in exchange as Anderson rotates in. It's a 2-for-1 trade, but at least Cog gets something out of it here as Titan starts to pull ahead now. The lead's still not very respectable, though. It's only about 1,000 gold, and the experience is dead even.
When Cog is in this advantage, it's like 4,000 to 5,000 gold. When Titan's in this advantage, we're only seeing about 1,200.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, the pace feels very much like a game where Cognitive has been in the lead. However, you're exactly right. 1/10 of the lead that we saw out of Cognitive Gaming on the side of Titan.
Oh, nice chains coming out. Stealth taking a lot of damage. They actually forced his beads as well. They're going to be down for 3 minutes, but he still has the Greater Aegis active, so he's not going to be in too much trouble as he does retreat. And no Gold Fury attempt. I thought they were going to try it.
Yeah, it is a little bit questionable to pick the Scylla into the Ares knowing it was there. The chains that Ares attaches means that the god cannot use ability-based movement. So that teleport under the ground to the Doghead Sentinel ability on Scylla, one of her most important abilities, probably the best ability that she has in her kit. It's a very, very, very fast cast time, a nearly instant teleport that goes through walls.
Yes.
And when that gets shut down by the Ares change, she becomes very vulnerable, as you saw, blowing a 3-minute cooldown just because of the threat of getting hit by one.
Well, again, she still has the greater Aegis, so she still can provide a little bit of support. They can rely on Jeff Hindla as well for peel, although Athena doesn't have a ton of peel. She has one gigantically great spell to ensure that if the Confound hits, they'll be pushed away, or she can increase the defenses of Scylla, mitigating damage incoming by 25% with the ultimate.
Pretty prime, yeah.
See that?
Yeah, that was
beautiful.
Yeah, so what Nox is doing there, she has a stealth shield that will absorb 90% of damage from the next ability, and is using it to avoid those crushes coming out of Scylla. We have Barracuda in a little bit of trouble here. Kanye Life, though, gets taunted out by Jeff Hindla, and the Gold Fury attempt is going to be stalled there. Barracuda taking a little bit more harass than he would have liked.
Ooh, Andy moving in. Again, a lot of pressure into this Gold Fury still, as we see a rotation coming over from Comfrey, but he just walked over a sentry, and he will be spotted.
There's actually a ward here down for Cognitive at the Gold Fury, but we have a team fight breaking out. Anister trying to dash away. He's going to pull it back in by the ultimate.
Oh,
Jeff Hindla is in a lot of trouble as Comfrey silences out too. And now here comes Surging Titan. Barracuda comes into the back line, but he gets started out by Repicos and exploded. Triple kill for Ataraxia. Gold Fury is going to go the way of Titan.
If they get through this game, they force a game 4, Rama better be banned because Ataraxia has shown up like he has never shown up. He has always been the middle of the line player for the team, but holy hell is this guy on fire. 603 and is responsible for every major objective push so far.
Devs Love and Chin Size with the pen boots online here. It's a really, really early Chin Size.
Bart, is he level 18?
Level 18 at 17 minutes into this game with a 3,000 gold luxury item under his belt. This is a big-time ROM, and it should give you some indication as to why this god was banned in so many games earlier in this set.
You know, there was a pretty meager lead, but it's turned quite relevant as 3,900 gold separates both the European and North American champions, 12-5 currently.
Yeah, that's a for real lead, as we would say.
Yeah, this is the first time that we've seen Titan command the map.
Yeah, that's right. So now the Otis on Cognitive Prime to find their footing in this game. They haven't played from behind against this team yet in the tournament, nor in any international competition prior to this. As a relatively new squad from Titan coming out of the amateur scene to find their way all the way to the #1 seed in Europe and into the finals of the Smite World Championship, playing for their share of $2.6 million.
All right, so Sentry Ward going to be countered in the hotspot coming into the mid lane. Kanye Life not going to be too threatened. In fact, he's moving forward. And again, I should point out that we didn't like the Ares pick, and he's doing amazingly. He set up a lot for his team. He's protecting Ataraxia, who is obviously dominating. Kanye Life, again, with his rather unique god pool, seems to be allowing him to play well.
Yeah, he's been involved in 10 of the 12 kills on the side of Titan, which
That's
was
impressive.
very well for any support.
That's incredibly impressive. Only picking up 1 and just barely. No escape. Applied to 2. Immediately, Jeff Hindla going to apply his damage, and he's taking a lot there as Repicos jumps in.
Jeff Hindla could be in a bit of trouble here. Yeah, he's going to get set up by the Nox ultimate, but no, they don't secure it. Oh, Pretty Prime snipes it out. Here comes MLC Zelda. The crush going to be Aegis out by Pretty Prime. Megatron moving forward, but he realizes very quickly that he's not going to find anything out of this. Going up into the sky is the Thor, looking for a crash down, but will just make his way back to the lane, and they may try to transition this into a push.
Oh, Stealth in some trouble here. A lot of damage coming through. Aegis will he get away? No, Pretty Prime finding another cleanup kill as Comfrey and Ataraxia tend to proxy 3 members. No use of shifting sands there. Barracuda is attempting to spend a lot of his resources into a rather tanky chunk.
Tier 1 mid lane does fall in favor of Titan. Second tower of the game going in their direction, and that gold lead has grown. 5,000 now, 6,000 in the XP charts. No Gold Fury to transition into, but there is speed buffs spawning on both sides of the map. They should look to flex their muscles a little bit and take a page out of Cognitive's book and strip some XP away.
So we reached the 20-minute mark, Bart, and things are a much different story than they were in the previous games for the European champions, Titan, as they have made an incredible push into this mid-game. 6:05 now for Captain Ataraxia. Pretty Prime finally showing up this game with a 3-1-6 score himself. Comfrey 0-0-6. Everybody being positive except for the support, who's only 1 kill behind, but with 11 assists.
So looking in the backside here, Thor has his speed buff. Nemesis on the top side has picked up hers as well. Both junglers have the extra run speed and attack speed available to them. Cognitive Gaming still looking for a foothold in this game. Titan has really done a nice job of controlling the laning phase, utilizing that Nox very, very well to secure some long-range kills, as well as using those silences very effectively. And it was really a big rotation from Confrey to set up this lead, getting a 3-man silence on the back of an Ares ultimate.
You know, but with that, Confrey's actually only 200 gold ahead of Omega, who's currently sitting on 200 creep kills compared to Kanye and Ataraxia, both sitting in the 170s.
Yeah, but this lane not being won by Osiris, even though he's keeping parity, it's okay. We won't see him carry this game most likely. That's going to be really the realm of the Nemesis combining with either the Scylla and the On-her, I'm sorry, to find those kills.
Yeah, Confrey can still get blown up. She shreds a lot of protections, but remember, guys, if Confrey activates Stormcall, his ultimate, from the time that he's channeling the spell in the air, before he comes down, he takes 50% reduced damage.
Can you believe that used to be 100%?
Yes, I can. I used him a lot. It was fun.
MLC Stealth caught in no knock position yet again. The Confound comes out to help try to bail him out. He does have the Nox ultimate active on him and will eat the stun now, but that ult is down, and they do not secure a kill. Cog likely looking to take a fight here. Yes, Athena's going to pour forward his Andancer. No, thinks better of it.
Yeah, Jeff Hindla getting the ultimate kind of wasted there in a rather curious spot, as well as Gold Fury will be respawning in 27 seconds, meaning if Jeff gets pushed out, he's going to stay out.
Yeah, Jeff, he really cannot die here. It's Kanye Life does find the chainsaw onto Jeff Hindla, and now trying to move forward.
Oh,
Takes a lot of damage.
Done.
Barracuda is doing damage through the thing, but Ataraxia will find it.
Him?
Ataraxia sniping him down, no problem. They trade their jungler for the mid laner of Prime, but the fight has not stopped yet.
Confrey trying to go for it. I don't see him going for it. Omega uses his ultimate, and they're going to be forced away. This is almost a power play here, but with Reppy down versus Stealth, I actually do give an advantage here at the Gold Fury fight to Titan.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity for them. Out of position are both the On-her and the Osiris.
They're letting it go.
No way they rally there in time. Jeff Hindla is not even going to bother turning the corner. They're going to take their red buff and give this one up. Third Gold Fury of the game going to fall for Titan.
You know, that's one of the hardest calls in any game, you know, any MOBA. You see an objective being taken and you know you can't pressure it, and you have to go, the words have to come out of your mouth. You have to say, we have to let that go.
Yeah, we got to sacrifice that, but as we mentioned a little bit earlier in the broadcast, the Smite map is fairly small, so finding objectives on the other side of the map can be very, very challenging unless your positioning is perfect. And as you see here, Omega attempting to do that, but he's a little bit late as Ares rotates in with the chains. Omegatron is going to try to secure this blue buff, and he will, but here comes the team.
Yeah, he's in a lot of trouble. No ultimate. I hope the blue is worth it, buddy. That's going to be a pretty long 1-minute respawn for you, and you're going to lose your tower for it.
Definitely not worth it.
Left side, Ataraxia battling out with Barracuda. Jeff Hindla comes in. Barra's going for the chase. They want blood.
Yeah, they really want to try to pick the kill. It could be a very, very important kill for them. Desert Fury being
they got him.
And there it is. Well played for Barracuda. And they should be able to take this tier 1 on the back of that as well. They see the Nox and the Thor rotation coming out, and no, it's going to just be the recalls. Thor not going to be able to close the distance and stop this. They'll get a decent amount of damage onto the tower as well from the minions before Thor can come and clean that out.
So right there, I heard a huge chant of Barracuda. I was really expecting a huge chant of Jeff Hindla. Because that was the play. He saved Barracuda from danger. He applied the taunt to put Ataraxia in a bad spot. The shield wall procs at max level to make sure the damage is done. Barracuda did his work, but that was all Jeff.
Right side lane, tier 1 tower does go down in favor of Confrey. Titan continuing to take objectives off of the map. Nemesis is over here helping to farm up, and she's going to clear the wave off of her tier 2, but map control is starting to slip for Cognitive Prime here. The wards are getting deeper and deeper from Titan, and Cognitive has not had an answer for about the last 10 minutes to this Ares.
That and the gold difference keeps, just raising farther and farther in favor of Titan. 6,100 gold. That's more than an item level per player on the team, and in some cases could be close to an entire item itself.
But it's a very, very different style of lead that Titan has here from where we saw it of Cognitive Gaming. When Cognitive won those first 2 games, all 5 of their members were ahead in net worth at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, Osiris is sitting in the 4th most farm position, on her sitting above Ares as well. So they're not out of this one yet is Cognitive Prime. They have the farm on their cores. It's just a matter of can they transition that into winning a team fight to help them take some objectives off the map. They need to win a team fight, take a Gold Fury, and then this is basically a dead even game.
For me, this has all been Ataraxia so far. I mean, if COG wants to shut it down, they're going to have to stop these fights, trying to go onto Nox, stop trying to kill Reppy, and they need to stop fighting until they can see Ataraxia plainly in sight. Not on wards, not in the jungle when he's walking through, a minion camp. They might have an extra minion near. They need to see Ataraxia on the map or
setting
pick
up
him
for
up.
a kill attempt onto the Osiris here. The chains do miss, but they're going to go in nonetheless.
Omega
has his ultimate available.
Oh,
Will
no.
use it. The Athena ultimate coming in as well for the damage mitigation. He's not taking very much physical damage here. He's going to try to make his way out. One more strike for Dekus. No, that Nox ultimate is going to be enough to clean him up when it procs. Down goes Omegatron. Jeff Hilla's going to fall to Berserker's Rush. Dashing forward. Doesn't matter. Replicas finds the kill. That's 2 down. Cognitive Gaming going to have their work cut out for them now.
Naz, there, right there. Andy's going to be forced to escape left side. Ataraxia feeling the hurt here from Barracuda, who just landed a few more shots, but the insane amount of healing coming out from Ataraxia is keeping him alive. But Barra not dropping it just yet. Going to keep the pressure on.
Yeah, Barracuda does have significantly less lifesteal at this juncture than is on the back of Ataraxia. That Aussie, this item is a non-damaging attack speed lifesteal pen item that gives you more
Not Fire Giant.
additional lifesteal and HP when you get under a certain health threshold.
Bart, why aren't they going to the Fire Giant?
I'm not sure why they pushed that tier 2 on the right side. I guess they expected that the Nemesis was going to be a little bit better position, but Cognitive Prime with the perfect answer to this kind of off the mark push from Titan. They push up the mid lane, get a lot of farm in the Nemesis. They push up to the tier 2 on the left side, and wrapping around now is the Nemesis. The backstep is out. Ataraxia in a lot of trouble. He takes this guy, but he doesn't make it up in time. Down he will fall. A misplay from the very, very far punter here. But Barracuda gets exploded now by Replicas.
Finally, Replicas showing up in this set. I mean, he's been so quiet. In fact, maybe even detrimental in the first 2 games. But this game has been an absolute just knockout situation for him. Every single play he has made has been so big.
Right side mid camp, go the way of Titan. Jeff Hinla thought about contesting him, and now he may pay with it for his life. He does have that Nox ultimate active on him, dashing forward. He's going to do some damage. He's going to use his Aegis to avoid that. Very, very strange that you're going to see an Aegis out on an Athena. Usually it's a more defensive-oriented spell like a Shell or even a Creeping Curse to try to make up some, well, HP differential from Confrey.
So there's there's healing on Confrey. There's a lot of healing on Ataraxia as well with the Unicorn build. Brawlers, or rather, we have the Dev's Gloves and the Aussie both providing a lot of lifesteal. So instead, he goes into Aegis to protect himself. The issue is he's not a target.
Right. Usually you want to see the Aegis on a target that they're going to dump a lot of burst into, and you can avoid all of it. Andenser, he's going to take a bit of damage here, but he's not in too much trouble. Well, now he is as the chains come out from Kanye Life. He's going to zap away a lot of that protection, and now he's going to try to resurge back in with the Athena, but the cripple was still there, so he was unable to dash forward.
So right there, that was really big for me on the side of Replicas. He gets the stun and doesn't go for the double tap from Mjolnir's attunement. Instead, he walks up and just does Berserker Barrage, forcing Andy to shield, allowing him to use Mjolnir as a reaction. That is incredible matchup knowledge and brilliant play coming out from the European jungler.
We're going to have 3 chin size up and running now on Cognitive Prime.
Left side, there is a Witchblade. I would like to see some Midgardian mail as well, and there's no room on that side for a Enfeebling Curse, which would be incredibly beneficial at this stage.
It is going to be another Gold Fury going the way of Titan, their 4th of the game, if I'm correct. That's just a lot.
Right side, Omegatron taking a tier 1, answering back a small amount of gold, putting himself in a small amount of danger, but he is Osiris, and I don't expect him to take too much threat here.
Yeah, Chalk does not bring really any hard CC to the table. What he does have is a short duration knock-up, but it's contingent upon 2 spells hitting. It's a low percentage play. He does have the silence as well, but it's not going to be enough to stop the Osiris from just running back to his base with impunity.
So Barra, Andy, and Omega all level 20, Stealth level 19, very close. So they're effectively 1 level behind for the core damage dealers, and then Jeff Hinla is 1 level behind Kanye. The experience difference, while it reads 9,300, is basically irrelevant. Gold difference, however, 8,100 is still quite relevant indeed. So they're going to have to be careful on their fights, especially with Jeff Hinla still having that Aegis.
To put it into some perspective for you, about a 5,000 gold differential you can feel. It's about half of an item on the enemy team.
Right.
8,000, they're about an item or the better part of a luxury item ahead of you at this stage. So Cognitive Gaming has to make this up through positioning, avoiding some spells, and finding some pickoffs before they take a true 5v5 fight.
When it comes down to me, I want to see Andy ult, and Scylla's got to be on the target immediately. Stealth and Andenster must be on the same target at the same time, and they must provide enough threat to scare people away from fighting Barracuda.
Once this Witchblade is done on the Nemesis, I want to see her spend that extra 600 gold and go ahead and pick up that Fist of the Gods out of the Hand of the Gods, setting up that stun for MLC Stealth.
I'm surprised we haven't seen it. It's usually a much earlier pick for Nemesis, given the fact that she can get in so quickly.
Especially when paired with Burst Mages like we see on
Oh,
Stella
where is Reppy going?
Reppy, he's just going to try to bail
They
out
got
here.
Fire Giant. I can't believe. I thought that was a bait. They actually got that.
And they took it down much faster than I expected as well. Jeff Hinla is going to be in a lot of trouble, and he's going to take a spill here.
That Aegis is going to help, buddy.
5. And now surging forward is Titan. and they are not going to go down without a fight here versus Cognitive Prime. Down 2 games to nothing, they surge back with a brilliant draft. They pick up the Ares, they set up a great game for him, and now we're pushing to break the base 5v4.
Now, this is what I'm always talking about. When you're in the lead, protect the lead. They must be careful. So many games have been thrown at Phoenix's. MLC Stealth already under half, though. That's going to give them a way in. Jumping in right away. Kanye Life tanking it up. Pretty Prime takes the Nemesis ultimate, and Andy's not going to be able to follow that one up.
Yeah, there's no one can follow that one up. Omega could jump forward with his ultimate, but it's just not where you want to use that ability. They have done a pretty decent job here in Cognitive, however, stalling out this push onto the Phoenix.
Let's see some red lights.
Confrey's going to go ahead and drop that silence down. Barracuda may fall in the well. No, dashing back is Confrey.
That was a pretty cute teleport. I like that.
That was, yeah.
I like that.
Clever stuff.
So they're going to bail out here, probably just clean up the jungle, go for the tier 2. Lord knows they have the damage for it.
Yeah, that's going to be an easy kill, an easy 1,500 gold for, well, maybe not, as Cognitive Prime looks like they want to fight this one. Kanye Light moving forward, Anderson already in a lot of trouble, not going to get pulled.
Is that actually going to find it?
No, Repicos does, though. Thor comes crashing down, tier 2 to fall here, as Cognitive Prime slips yet again, dropping their jungler.
So tier 2 going to fall, another 1,500 will separate the two teams. 12,000 gold now. A lot of it still in pocket, of course, but they're going to push in again to the Phoenix, diving into the backline. Omega has a line for a kill, but they're just not feeling it.
Yeah, just off the mark there was that ultimate from Scylla. Moving forward is the Repicos as well. Ataraxia takes this guy, down goes Barracuda, down goes Omega trying to Pretty Prime. Confrey in a bit of trouble, but now Jeff Hinlow is forced to use his Magi's. MLC Stealth and Jeff Hinlow, no ultimates available. Going to try to hold out the 5 members of Titan.
That Phoenix is falling quickly. Stealth still has enough damage to hold the Titan, and I think the boys on Titan are going to know it. So they're going to go over. Actually, no, they're going to go back and spend gold in hand right now. Everyone is sitting at 2K or higher, except for Repicos, which was 1970.
They're going to buy those items and be very proud because they have an opportunity to make their way back into this set 2-0 right now. About to be 2-1. Wow.
Bart, not only that, there's still over 90 seconds left on their Fire Giant buff. And remember, guys, Fire Giant buff allows you to push down towers and Phoenixes even quicker. So you know they're going to take this opportunity to rush down the left lane.
I mean, the itemization on Titan. 3 Titan's Banes, 2 Chin Size, 2 Winged Blades, 2 Witch Blades, and 2 Brawler's Beat Sticks.
2 Beat Sticks.
There is a lot of physical damage coming out.
Why are there 2 Beat Sticks?
Hey, well, they need the pen. They got to have the pen on the ROM to set up the Unicorn build. And what you see here on ROM is the true Unicorn build as designed by the one and only Kret. But the Thor has picked one up as well for some additional flat pen.
It looks like it's just going to have to be the 20 penetration. Nothing else really makes sense here. He has full beads. Right now, Repicos is a very dangerous man.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, if you get spun on, it's gonna be about 1,400 to 1,500 damage depending on your armor value. Kanye Life is gonna grab, but it's not gonna find anybody. Jeff Hinlow Aegis is nonetheless. Repicos is taking to the sky.
That's a really big play because forcing out all that usage is going to make it very hard for them to defend. Here comes Reppy. They're gonna be able to go forth. They're trying to burn down this Phoenix quickly, and they are gonna get it. 2-man ultimate. Bear is in a lot of trouble. Barracuda goes down. MLC Stealth getting troubled here. Does a lot of damage. Is he gonna get in? No! He's not a monster. He is respawning.
Omega goes down as well. Ataraxia up in the sky. Jeff Hinlow gonna be the last shot up in the target.
Boom!
No, he's just shooting the Titan. It's only Anderson alive. Titan pushing into the base. 60%, 30%, 20%. Down goes the Titan. We're going to game 4. Europe not dead yet.
Everybody, after 2 extremely dominant first games where it seemed this would be a clean 3-0, Titan finds their comeback potential hidden within themselves and manages to burn down the North American champions.
Yeah, I think the difference maker here is that Anderson not playing that Thor, which you've seen him be so successful on. Nemesis, while being a very good god, we mentioned it during the broadcast, didn't have the synergy with Scylla in the mid lane you're looking for.
Right.
Such a mobile ganker as Nemesis, you can set up that I'm a monster pretty easily with Fist of the Gods.
Yeah, you're very surprised to not see it. I think we're going to see a switch off of Nemesis here to a god that might have a little bit more CC. I hope Titan's paying attention to the dynamic and don't just think that that was just all them, although it could be argued that that was pretty much all Ataraxia.
Well, we'll see what Zimstar has to say about that one as he just predicted his own country to lose. Boys at the analyst desk, Drive and Young Golden Boy, please take it away. Let us know what we saw there.
There you see what they're playing for, folks. $1.3 million. We synced that up. And young Golden Boy, I think I might be older than him. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
But in any case, so I think it goes without saying, ladies and gentlemen, We got ourselves a game.
We've got a game.
We got a series here, folks. Titan came out swinging. They were like, I'm not going out. This is it. Staying in the fight. It's so good. I'm so hyped.
I wish I saw Ataraxia's eyes in the beginning of that match. I mean, this guy heard the call of a champion. I mean, in that beginning, Ataraxia was like, no, guys, get behind me. We're going to do this. They segue into Repicos in the mid-game, taking off as well. We saw Confrey lifting the gates, but again, we've got the goddess of the night, Nox, hitting home and hitting hard. Nox was a big player for them.
Yeah, and Nox, and I must just say, Ataraxia, Jesus. He just carried his entire team through the entire early mid-game. That was ridiculous. And if they, now, here's
that snipe, though.
Yeah, the snipe was amazing. I mean, entire Titan just played so good. And also, this is what happens when you don't ban Coney Life out. On Ares, did you this year notice the difference between his Hercules and Ares? It's just like night and day, you know? He was just making plays all over the place. I mean, chain after chain, ulti after ultimate. It was crazy.
What was interesting to note there was that Cog Prime were actually winning a lot of the early game. It wasn't until that dual lane triple kill into a Gold Fury for Titan. Absolutely, they just turned everything around. Titan from there literally got probably the most momentum I've ever seen. They just went around killing everybody. Every single objective was under control. And Titan, with that one dual lane 3-0 sweep, just won the game.
I was out of my chair in that match, and you can even tell the crowd was excited. Even Cognitive Prime fans were out there cheering a little bit for Titan just to make this that much better of a series, and Titan has come out to play. We mentioned it all day long, the fact that Titan is a reactive team. They need time and experience against teams, and they can start to pick apart the subtle things that make it work. They're very intelligent players, but let's bring it back to the Logitech First Blood of that last game and show why they need to be prioritizing the right picks here. You can see ML Scylla here right in the mid lane looking for some damage output. Good rotation, and Repicos, you know, he just made a majorly fatal mistake, but here comes the dunk. He tried to go for a pretty prime, not going to happen. Of course, that's all he needed. He just needed that little bit of gold to start it off.
One thing I will say about, you know, MLC Stealth's play there was, while he did do a good job with Scylla, one thing I did note was he wasn't hitting the, hitting the I'm a Monsters. Like, he wasn't like on the money as he was in previous games, right? That played a huge factor. That was very reminiscent of what we saw in the Cog Red, Cog Prime matchup yesterday, where, MLC Stealth had Scylla, couldn't really do much with her. And, but I also want to credit Cog Red on that because they made it very difficult. So it's not a matter of MLC Stealth not being able to, but it's just a matter of their opponent, just forcing them into bad situations. That seemed to be the story there. But another thing, too, that I have to say was Repicos' Thor was great. I thought that was exactly what they needed. There were a couple whiffs there with the ult, but it's okay because he made up for it in the team fights big time. Allied, your thoughts?
Honestly, I think that was the key difference is with the first pick, Thor. I think Thor has been the major focal point of each game so far, and that early game presence and early game control in the jungle is absolutely key, especially for Repicos, who's known as the backbone of Titan. We need him to absolutely get control of the jungle, make his presence be known, and then he becomes that outstanding carry throughout mid to late game.
Look at this right now. This was a match that Titan pulled back towards the mid. They got all the Gold Furies. They got all the Fire Giants. And look at this. 50-50 speed right on the dot. Shoutouts to F-Dot, and 53% mid to 47% mid. I mean, they had the control of the objectives that meant the most, and that's what we've been preaching the entire time. Get speed, get mid, you'll win the game.
I think they just need to not give Titan Thor at all. I mean, maybe just pick it up themselves. I mean, they could choose right now because they lost, right? So they can choose first pick. Am I wrong?
Yes.
They can choose.
They can choose. So just go first pick, force them to ban Thor out, or otherwise just pick it and just ban out Colony Life. That's how they won the second game. I think they should just do that again. Yeah. Don't let Thor go through because it's ridiculous.
That was my concern as well for them.
I think Thor going into next game is going to be absolutely banned. I don't see Thor coming into play. And then I'm actually interested to see, when Thor is banned, where does Circuit open up? Does Circuit get picked, or is there another counter to Circuit in the jungle that might, like Zimstar said, possibly Bakasura jungle is a counter. I'm really curious to see what's the stance on Thor and the stance on Osiris, because now that Osiris has been beaten, do you care about it anymore? Like, do you just stalemate it with chalk? What's the actual answers?
It's very true, very true. And I mean, honestly, until picks and bans comes up yet again, we won't know that. But you are right, though. That Thor ban is pretty accurate. I would be shocked if they let it go. And it's funny. I'm looking at the chat, and a lot of people are just typing ban Thor, and honestly, I don't disagree. It's just he's such a game-changing god, right? And I don't know, maybe if I'm missing something here, but just Thor opens up opportunities for the team to be able to pull off crazy plays.
I think this was the duel, and I think you're right, Zimstar. I think giving Ataraxia and Kanye Life the tools they need to succeed. You can see 1, 2, and 21 from Kanye Life. He dropped 17,000 damage that game, nearly the same amount as Thor. He actually outbeat everyone on the enemy team except for Barracuda, and Ataraxia, because of it, benefited. Look at the damage. He went crazy. Like you said, the call of a champion. You said it earlier during while we were watching the game, Gold Boy. This guy was like, this is not going to happen. Triple kill right for the Gold Fury, led into the Gold Fury, getting some free gold for his team. And then, of course, that segued into the catch-up from Pretty Prime, big AoE damage. We saw it towards that last ending push. Megatron about to get away, but not today. Nox got that ultimate dot on top of him. Making sure that Kanye and Ataraxia succeed, and then Pretty Prime doesn't end up dying too much is all they need.
And also, I must give a shout out to Comfrey. I mean, this game he played so very good on the shock. The silences were on point. He just came in when he needed to be there. He went 4-0-12, if I remember correctly.
4-0-12.
4-0-12. He just knocked Omega out of the box, man. I'm impressed.
One thing also to talk about Ataraxia, because I wanted to bring this up, as you had mentioned before when we were watching the game. Again, I've been in this business for quite a while now, and there are just some times where you see a player who will just straight up tell his team, listen, I understand what you're all trying to do here, but we're going to come back in this. We're not going to lose. Just get behind me. We're going to tear it apart. And I felt like that's what Ataraxia did.
Oh, yeah.
Don't know if that's how the conversation went down, but I'm pretty sure midway through that game when he realized he had the hot hand and everything was clicking for him, there was really just no point. There was no point for anyone to try and force the subject. Let this guy do his thing. They certainly did that. He went off. He played incredible. This whole team played great. But also another thing too, that Ares, man, that Ares pickup was so awesome. How many times that ult became, just a difference maker there? Like just the way that they would, like play around them and force them in these bad positions. I mean, incredible.
It was actually crazy that they decided to pick up Ares that early, but what really helped Ares out a ton was the triple winged blade pickup. They got it on mid, jungle, and the support, and it's actually one of the best items for Ares and Ymir, which is probably why you see so much winged blade coming out of Europe, you're immune to slows, and that's the biggest problem with Ymir and Ares, is that you get pinned down, you get slowed, you can't get away, and that's it, you just die. But Kanye was able to get out of that and really shine as a support this game, and it was a huge turnaround. I thought that was like the towel's in for sure because of the Herc play last game, but he stepped it up and momentum's completely reversed. I wouldn't be surprised if they took another game off COG.
Well, I mean, they had just Kanye by himself, 28 wards placed that game. This guy, when he gets the God of War, Ares, he is in his comfort zone. He knows what to do, he knows where to run, and he knows who his victims are. And again, just to reiterate, he did 17,000 damage that game. That was more than Aninster. That was more than MLC Stealth. That was more than Megatron. That was almost as much as Barracuda. He was dropping damage while also mitigating damage, while also initiating and providing vision on the map. This guy was all over the place.
Yeah.
What's interesting to note is that you said before that MLC didn't really pop off as the previous games, and that's true, and that's really the problem because you saw this in the series beforehand when it was Cognitive Prime versus Cognitive Red. MLC Stealth, he did like just very average, if not under average. He actually at one point, I believe 20 minutes in, he had the lowest farm on his team, if not the game. And it just goes to show, which is why a lot of mid players aren't really familiar with playing Skilla and don't even pick her at all. She's a very hot, cold, on and off character.
Interesting. Zimp, what are your thoughts in regards to how Titan played that one? And what can they do going into Game 4 as we hear them getting ready to go, getting themselves psyched up?
I mean, just make sure you draft allows you to have the similar dual lane where you have Conley Life on his comfort picks, and either Ares or Amir. I mean, as long as you can get any of those two, I think they're gonna do just fine. Just really be careful because I do think Prime would know how to counter Amir. I would just put Ares on higher prio because they didn't seem to respect Ares enough, man. The chains did so much damage that Prime was kind of just picked apart by them.